is an author, parliamentarian, and diplomat who has specialized throughout his 35-year public career in peace and human security issues. He lectures widely on peace and especially nuclear disarmament themes. He was a Canadian senator, a member of Parliament representing constituents right here in Edmonton, a Canadian ambassador for disarmament, and a visiting professor at the University of Alberta. Mr. Roche also elected chairman of the United Nations Disarmament Committee at the 43rd General Assembly back in 1988. The author of 20 books and contributor to 20 more, Mr. Roche also holds 8 honorary doctorates from Canadian and American universities and has received numerous awards for his work for peace and nonviolence, including the Mahatma Gandhi Foundation for World Peace Award here in Canada and the United Nations Association's Medal of Honor. Back in 1995, a man you may have heard of, Pope John Paul II, presented our keynote speaker with a medal for his service as Special Advisor on Disarmament and Security Matters. He received a 2003 Peace Award at the Canadian Islamic Congress, as well as a 2005 Luminosa Award for Unity in North America. In 2005, also given Lifetime Achievement Awards from both the Canadian Pugwash Group and the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. Officially also here in the month of September, that's 9 months into 2012. The first individual I've ever introduced whose bio justifiably goes to a second page. In 2009, he received the Distinguished Service Award of the Canadian Association of Former Parliamentarians for his promotion of human human rights and parliamentary democracy in Canada and abroad. In 2010, the city of Hiroshima, Japan, named Doug Roche an honorary citizen for his work in nuclear disarmament. As mentioned, he is an officer of the Order of Canada. In 2011, he was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Mr. Roche was nominated for the 2011 award by the International Peace Bureau. Please assist me in welcoming Doug Roche.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you, Yasmin, for dedicating that song to me. It's the theme of a film that was made by the National Film Board on the great Joseph Rotblat, who was a leading figure in the world trying to get rid of nuclear weapons. And thank you also, my dear children behind me. When I asked myself why I still write, teach, lecture, do this for a long time, and I'm now 83, and I said, well, should I quit? But I tell you, when I come and I see the faces of the children like this, I've been looking at them for the past 15 minutes, I cannot quit. I want a world peace. I know the kind of world that they're going into. It's got a lot of problems, to be sure, and that's what dominates us, our thinking, television every day, papers, everything. Saying, oh, can we have peace? The answer is yes, we can have peace. These children can, and I certainly firmly hope they will, grow up and become adults in a world more peaceful than we now have. And that, my dear friends, is not just a wishful thinking on my part. The world is getting more peaceful. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but the curve of violence in the world is going down. The number of wars is diminishing. Perhaps it's hard for us to absorb that. Maybe it seems to be counterintuitive if we're so heavily dominated by the news of the day. But the 21st century, with its problems, is a less violent century than the 20th, with World Wars I and II. 50 to 100 million people were killed, all sorts of other wars. We are now having a better understanding of the futility of war. Before the U.S. invaded invasion of Iraq in 2003, 10 million people in 200 cities marched around the world, including our own city. Several thousand people here marched. And that was the first time that was ever done before a war actually took place. People have now a better understanding that we must be able to find a way to resolve conflict in the world without violence. Well, I can't come in this room and see all these displays and everything without thinking once more of Gandhi. I am a Gandhian, as so are many of you in this room, who taught us nonviolence. We are learning more and more that we cannot have violence in our domestic life. We cannot have it in intercultural and interracial relations. We cannot have it as a means of resolving conflict between countries and peoples. We are rising in our understanding of this. This is a very empowering moment for us. And I feel it especially when I see the children and the opportunities they are going to have that I didn't have, and many of us didn't have, in a world where a culture of war was considered norm, a normal thing. We all went off to war every so often. What the International Day of Peace teaches us, now for the 30th time that we're having this day, what it teaches us is that building for a culture of peace is the norm. It's norm. I want a world in which it's normal to think of peace, and all the institutions and mechanisms of our time, international law, agencies of the United Nations, all the things that go on to help to build and strengthen a fabric, an architecture for peace. I want that to be normal. That's what I want for these children. So that when their turn comes to stand here, it won't be as sort of an unusual thing or a special day that we have to mark peace, because peace will have been built into the genes, into the lives of those who come. So we are in the early stages, so to speak, of building a culture of war, building a culture of peace to replace a culture of war. I am not naive in thinking that we can do this overnight. It will take the work of many, many people, but there are organizations, there's civil society, there are countless individuals around the world who are dedicating themselves to peace, who are finding a way in their own life to communicate values outward, whether it's radio shows, letters to the editor, letters to members of parliament, having our voice and our values felt and communicated more widely in our community. That's what we want to do, to have a culture of peace. I'm very, very hopeful, optimistic as I look into the future. I know what we've been able to do so far, and I think we're only beginning on this road to peace. Thank you very much.
Message and a great reminder. It is now my pleasure to hand things back to the very talented St. Boniface School Choir with the song Come with Hearts and Voices Sound. Please help me welcome.